Afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? It is 12:01 here, 82 degrees. Don't have to worry about the air conditioner, so I'm good. Can everybody hear me okay? Let's see who's in here. I have been reminded, I've actually been told this before, but it was brought up to me again yesterday. Remember the show Romper Room, where the teacher would call out roll? I've been told many times I'm muffled. Can you guys hear me? Goodness, I don't need that again. That happened on a show for Eliza Fisher. Fletcher, I'm sorry. I had to shut everything down. So can you hear me now? Okay, I'm good now. Back to my welcome. So remember the show Romper Room, where the lady would basically call roll? I've been told that that's who I sound like when I tell everyone hi. Lauren said, sounds perfect. Angel used to watch Romper Room. We're kind of showing our age when we remember these shows, you know? Hello, tough as nails. Celeste says, you're not muffled anymore. Lisa, you sound fine. Hello, Carolina. Reese Place, Carla, Diane, Jara Dirtson, Nene. Can you guys believe, while I'm going through and saying hi to everybody, 15 months today? No Summer Wells. No Summer Wells. Hello, Barbara Hall. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Bonnie. Jules. Yes, Lisa, you're on time. Hello, be a shiner, not a whiner. Brooks is in the Bat Cave. I need to be in the damn Bat Cave. I need all of Batman's skills and equipment because these things hack me off to no end. Can I be Batman for a day? I will obviously need the coordination because if anybody has been to my local gym and see me try to tackle the stair climber, you would know I have almost none. Almost none. Hello, Truth Delight. There's Big T. JPL, hello. Queen of Ravens, hello. What's up? I don't know how that happens. I got to get a new microphone. That's all there is to it because it's been happening way too much and it throws me off big time, big time. I see we have some new members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I missed something. Regina loved Romper Room. I guess this could be our own Romper Room. In a way, it kind of is. Hello, Just Me. Yes, Just Me to the Batmobile. Anytime. Anytime. We definitely need the Batmobile. Definitely, because like I said, today is 15 months. Our first show about Summer Wells was June 16th, 2021. We talked about, I think on the 17th, we started talking about press conferences. As of today, September 15th, 2022, the update is there is no update. It is still an open investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells. What the hell is going on? I go back to Monkey Vaughn when they did the update in July and they put out some nuggets of information. Do they have none? We're going to go through an old clip, but I want to see what sticks out to me if it sticks out to you guys, because there was one person from the get that did not buy the wandering off scenario. Even though he said in other interviews, at this point, she could have just wandered off. But there's one press conference I picked out. I didn't cherry pick it or anything. I just happened to come across it. Dumb luck for me. That doesn't happen to me very often. Because I go through all of these old interviews, and something really stuck out to me, and I thought, Wow. Somebody never bought abduction or the wandering off. How far could Summer have really gotten if she wandered off? If you go back through footage of the search, when they were searching, the search crews, and there was like 100 different agencies at one time. And I hate when people start dogging on these search crews. Man, that is a hard job to do. They were walking in the heat, full garb, sweating their asses off, shoulder to shoulder, so nobody misses anything. I mean, almost at some point taking tiny steps to make sure they don't miss anything on the ground. How far could she have gotten if she wandered off? It's the most insane thing. Bama Gal said, Candace filed a restraining order against Don B. What do you all think of that? Like, what are you making of that whole thing? A lot of people have reached out to me and they're like, is this going to happen to everybody? I mean, is your channel in danger? Well, no, and I don't think Dawn's is either. Candace is going to have to show up to court. She's going to have to prove how she feels that her protection is in jeopardy. She's going to have to. That's all there is to it. I understand it's okay. I've heard restraining order and I've heard protective order. Those are a difference. They're two totally different things. Now, a protective order, from what I'm gathering, would mean she doesn't have to show up. It's already been granted, and he's got to stay the hell away from her. He can't be bumping into her anymore, can't go by anywhere where she might be staying. That's how I gathered it. Do you guys know which one it really is? Because like I said, I'm getting two versions of the story. Dawn called it a protection order. Well, then why is it not signed, sealed, delivered? Brought to his house by a process server or however they do it there. I don't know. And they say, you cannot be within 500 yards of this woman. You can't bump into her, nothing. Tim Mullen is behind this. And I'm not going to have a creator war in here. Oh, I love Don B. He's the best. Or no, he's a bully. I can't stand him. It's really not even about him. It's about Candace. Why now? It's not like Don Buchanan hasn't been on this case for 15 months. About 15 months. Why now? I always question timing. Why now? Is it because Dawn's getting out October 30th? And she doesn't want Don Buchanan to tell him like where all she's been? I don't know. She will have to show up in court. Now, this is where our friend Jonathan Lee Richards, I hopefully comes in. I'm not going to Tennessee. I don't have any plans to go over there. I guess maybe our friend Muscles could, or Truth Quest Tennessee. Maybe you don't want to get yourself in trouble. Ask old Candace what she's been up to. What's up, girl? Here you been in a trailer park in Dandridge over by the Love's fuel stop. What brings you to this neck of the woods? Oh, you got a protective order against Don Buchanan? Funny, because still almost on the daily, now it's gone way away, you have to admit, but we're not stopping here. Almost on the daily, people are asking where Summer's protection was. Where's Summer? Be kind of interesting. Has anybody heard if JLR, Jonathan's going down there? Because if she means business, she has to show up to court. Just me said abso-freaking-lutely. I mean, does anybody believe I'm not one for following anybody around? I'm just not. That's just not how I do things. But does anyone believe that Candace really feels like her safety? Mind you, Candace can whip a bear. I think one of my second or third shows about Summer, I said, I wouldn't want to meet her in a dark alley. Girl scares the hell out of me. She scares the hell out of me. By the way, I pinned the link. Anybody that wants to come up and discuss anything relating to Summer Wells, of course, please grab it and come up. In the meantime, I'm going to go through some comments from our last show. JLR is going to go down there. Okay. Last I heard, he was in Wisconsin looking for Grandis. She has to show up. Now, of course, I get argued about. People argue with me. And like I said, this is really not even about Dawn Buchanan. This is all about Candace. And of course, in relation to Summer. Candace is always about Candace. That's the thing. Candace is always, she is such a selfish, self-absorbed person. This could only benefit her somehow. And she picks Dawn Buchanan. We have to admit, okay, that there's creators that have gone, they have way overreached with her. I don't mean that they did anything wrong. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but he never struck me. I don't watch a lot of creators. Okay. I just don't. I'm usually watching how to remove dark spots off your face with toothpaste and how to build a snowman out of items from the Dollar Tree. You know, when I'm done with true crime, I watch stuff like that. So I don't catch up on a lot of the creators. You guys keep me filled in. So from what I have gathered just with my own eyes, there's been some that have been a lot more aggressive with Can't Cry Candace. Don B definitely tells it like it is. So I'm just wondering how this is going to pan out when we got to go to the courthouse. Do you think she'll show up? Do you think she'll show up? Will she be able to turn the tears on? Who do you think is behind it? Do you think maybe she has some sort of communication with Dawn again? And she's telling Dawn this is happening to her? I don't know. Could it be Tim Mullen? Could it be Tim Mullen? So if she doesn't show up, there's a motivation. There's a motivation to send that to Dawn Buchanan. Rowena says, I vote Timmy. I vote Timmy. Well, we're going to vote for comments right now. Give me a second. All right. From the last show, John Taylor says, Don B has been served papers from Candace. Not sure what it's about. He said that he heard it has to do with merchandise that has Summer on it. I don't remember him ever using Summer's image. I thought that was squashed a long time ago. Did anybody hear that? I don't think he would use Summer's image. Again, you guys have to help me out because I don't follow other creators. Unless they make nutcrackers out of toilet paper rolls. So that's what he said. All right. M. Dijon said, this whole case just baffles me to no end. Neither will get those boys back because they are suspects. The innocent until proven guilty does not apply to DHS. Okay, we call it DHS here, Department of Human Services. They call it CPS in most states. This is a really important point and a really important comment. So for everyone to say charges relating to the disappearance of Summer Wells are hinged on the CPS case, I've said it before and I get whacked every time because everybody's a damn lawyer, if you know what I mean. You guys, of course, are super freaking cool. But in other avenues, not in my DIY items from Dollar Tree people, but they don't even know who Summer is. Seriously. They have no idea what's going on. Those are two totally separate things. Child protection services and criminal charges are totally separate. She's exactly right. There's the innocent until proven guilty doesn't apply to children. So how come no charges for the endangerment of the boys? The boys were removed from the home. Why none? Uh-oh, look who grabbed the link. Hello, Muscles. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. We voted you to go to the courthouse for when old Candace shows up to plead with the court, throw herself at the court's mercy because she feels, from Dandridge, Tennessee, mind you, she feels unsafe with Don Buchanan.
Oh my gosh. Listen, that woman, I would love to go to the courthouse. I just need to be able to be heard and not be thrown in jail for what I have to say.
We don't want you in jail, Muscles. There's no way. Can you hear me or did I cut out again? Hello? Oh.
I hear you.
Mary says, agree, Brooks. Where are the charges for the boys at least? There's no innocent till proven guilty if you think a child is in danger. You also do not need a warrant. You guys remember the Turpin family in California?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we did a show about it. I was actually streaming something from, I think it was 2020. They shut the stream down like a-holes. I'm like, man, this is for educational purposes. I had to start a whole new stream. Anyway, Jordan Turpin, she escaped out of the house, somehow had a phone. She explains all that. She gets a hold of a police officer. She's very limited in her speech because of the way she had been sheltered her whole life. She's trying to explain to him what's going on in the home. Brothers and sisters chained up. We don't have any food. They keep the refrigerator chained up, the whole 9 yards. So he calls in some other officers because they're thinking maybe this girl's just running away or something like that. You know, they go through all they have to go through. They show up to the house. The officer was asked by Diane Sawyer. She said something about a warrant. And then you hear him on his radio. When you feel a child is in danger, you don't have to wait to get the judge out of bed. Kids, off limits. There's no, well, you got to wait on a warrant. You got to wait on a warrant. They went in that house, removed all the children. The parents are still in jail to this day. I think they each got 25 years. So what's up? Were the boys endangered and abused or not? CPS is very, very busy. I get that. What's going on?
Yeah, it's way overdue. It's way overdue at this point. They've had plenty of time to get justice for those boys, in my opinion. If in fact they've, have done something. I mean, I think we all can agree that, they looked as if they, I mean, I know it's judging a book by its cover in a way, and I understand that because we don't truly know anything that's for truth. We can only speculate.
We lost her at speculate. That was an amazing comment.
Oh, sorry, you there?
You're good.
I don't know what's going on. It's like locking me out for some reason. We can only speculate.
Candace put an order against you not to talk.
Do what now?
I said Candace put an order against you not to talk.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. but we can only speculate for sure what's occurred with the boys. We don't have any proof of it technically. So we all speculate, but it's just the living conditions alone were enough. Just seeing, we know that's for a fact because we saw the videos. So, and we know that what kind of conditions they were living in, and it's just, we know that they weren't probably fed properly just by her own descriptions. And I just find it hard to believe that they've not come up with something to where, I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, Brooks. I'm benefit of the doubt person here. That, and I've tried to be very patient, and I've tried to be very forgiving that they were just trying to build a case against her. Right? That's what I've always said. Trying to build a case, and they want to get the more strict punishment to her, and all this stuff. But at this point, I'm just really over nothing at all being done. It's really starting to weigh heavy on all of us. I know, but those boys deserve justice too. If in fact, they've had time to figure it out. They really have.
Oh, yeah.
I can't be convinced otherwise. Just be honest.
Something. If you can't, the biggest update we've had anytime recent is when Court K tweeted Leslie at TBI, who tweeted her back. I'm not in Twitter land, so I'm just following the motions. And when she said, absolutely, this is a criminal investigation, we haven't ruled out foul play. 15 months, my friends, 15 months. There must be some foul play going on if for 15 months they cannot rule out foul. That something foul didn't happen to Summer.
Absolutely. And why in 15 months? Like, why is it taking 15 months? And, last night I sat down, I was talking to my husband. I have this, thing with him about once every week or so. I sit down and have some kind of discussion around this stuff. And, I brought it up last night, and he talks to me in a very calm manner because he's the calm one of the bunch. I'm definitely not, but so he kind of ground checks me a little bit. But I told him, I said, I'm just so frustrated with this. And I said, tomorrow is 15 months. So I have two reasons I dread the 15th. Now it's because of Summer. The second part is that's when my house payments due. So, the 15th's always been that dreadful day. But then now it's heavy. It is so heavy. And I just lost it last night because I'm like, I can't imagine like what a parent who had absolutely nothing to do with this is going through. And I'm sorry, but Candace is not that person. Because if Candace was that person, we would hear from her every single week, every month of the anniversary of all this or whatever it is. You would hear her speaking, begging people to bring her daughter home, begging people, pleading with people to find her daughter. You have yet to hear that from that woman's mouth. Never.
Well, we had
there's a freaking reason.
No, and we had several comments after the show from Monday morning, I believe, that said, oh my God, Brooks, you're right. Very rarely do I hear that, by the way, so I'm cherishing those comments.
Okay? Amen, sister.
Okay, they're going to get showcased. You're going to hear it right now. Oh my God, Brooks, you're right. Candace did nothing on Friday when people were up in arms that there was a possible sighting of the abducted, according to Candace and Dawn and Grandis, those three. No one else. The FBI card unit said she wasn't abducted. TBI said no. Lawson said no. We already went through that. Not that he would know, but anyway, FBI card unit, that's their deal. That's their jam. That's their department. Okay. And the only person that wasn't up in arms would be Candace.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. I don't. I mean, I really need, to have some time to really advocate for, I feel like I just do a lot of complaining and not enough action. And I think some of us are guilty of that, though, I don't have a channel and I don't do anything like that, but something's got to get done. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. I'll be honest. I told you I was going to have that discussion with you, and I've tried to do a few things here and there, and trying to do some research and figure out just locally here what to do. But I'm just at a loss. I don't know what else to do. I truly don't.
You've done tons. Don't beat yourself up. This is no way, no how on you.
I know.
All you can do. You parted with your own hard-earned money to take tons of stuff to the search and rescue people. You've advocated for Summer. You were one of the first people to grab the link and come on the show to talk about Summer. It took me a while to figure out that you're right there. I'm kind of slow to the punch sometimes. You've been a voice for Summer for a long time.
Yes. Yeah, I just wish there was more I could do. I mean, I really do. And I know people get tired of hearing that. But I really truly do. I mean, I love that little girl like she's my freaking own, just like the rest of us do. Or we wouldn't still be here talking about her 15 months later. But I'll never stop talking about her. I never will. And when I was in Texas, I had to go to Texas a couple weeks ago, and I told everybody in my soul, because everybody want to know where you're from. Of course, they hear the accent and they're like, "Where are you from?" Tennessee. You think in Texas you'd fit right in, but evidently not. It's a different accent. But nonetheless,
strange about the South because I can pick out different accents.
Yes.
When I travel with my husband, I'm like, oh no, they're from Arkansas. Oh no, that's a Tennessee. Oh no, that's a Carolina accent. I can always tell him. They all sound the same to him because he sounds like he's from Canada. But I'm always like, no. That's definitely, and there's different parts of Texas that have different accents.
Definitely. Yes, definitely. So everybody was amazed. But it was funny that they would ask me that question. But when they would say that, they would be like, "Well, what part of Tennessee?" So then I would tell them what part of Tennessee. And then I was like, "Have you ever heard of the Summer Wells case? The little missing girl from Rogersville, Tennessee?" And some people had heard it, not many, but it was like I took a time to. It takes that to a whole different level of a conversation. Obviously, somebody, but I always take the time to tell somebody about it because it's like you never know. Who knows? Because we don't know anything. So it's just I really just want something. I want something good to come from this. And I don't know what good can come from it other than removing these monsters away from her, and getting. Hopefully, she's rescued her brothers, and they can have another chance at life because they deserve it, and that's all we can hope for right now.
Well,
it's just hard, y'all. It's hard, man.
Sad to say. And I'm not trying to upset anybody anymore on 15 months. Today is 15 months since Summer disappeared, probably right around this time, if you really want to know the truth. I don't want anybody sick at their stomach. According to TBI, early afternoon, it's 1:30 Eastern time right now. Probably right around this time and is when Summer was disappearing, okay? 15 months ago. We had our answer on Friday when neither Grandis or Candace, who are free to use the internet, they're not in jail, did not raise an eyebrow about someone thinking they saw Summer Wells. Those two know she was not abducted, and they never would even consider she wandered off. Neither the mama or the grandma came out of their hole and said, someone saw Summer. Thank God. They're the ones selling the abduction story. They could have at least come out and been like, see, I told you.
Yeah, why would you not if that was your story? If that was truly your story and what you felt like really, truly happened and you didn't know anything otherwise, why would you not have been on every news outlet possible? I mean, yeah, this is a royal town, but you have news outlets. You can get involved in all that. You can get on the radio station. You can get on YouTube and use it for something positive instead of going out there and acting like a lunatic and drinking and all this other stuff. But no, you choose to do nothing, which tells me what you've chose to do in Summer's life and her brother's life ever since they've been in this world and drawed their first breath, is you've done nothing. You didn't even take care of them in their own womb to hear it be told by other people. You didn't even take care of them then. So it tells us all we really need to know.
Well, I can tell you right now, if somebody thought they saw Michael Vaughn anywhere in the world, Brandy Neal would come out of her skin. She would be answering people, I don't know, I'm waiting for verification, on my way now. Nobody knows a baby like a mama.
Amen.
Obviously, he's going to be older now. I mean, honestly, not those two, because they know.
Exactly. And it's so frustrating. And I I've gotten super defensive about a few things, and I've gotten offended about a few things when it comes to reading about certain things, which I think some people go a little bit too far with certain stuff. But nonetheless, it is way overdue. It is way overdue. And whatever we need, whatever, Brooks, I'm looking to you for some guidance too. If you've got any ideas of what needs to happen, because you're exactly right. What I have seen and what I can tell from Brandy is she would be thumping doors trying to figure out what was truly going on. And she would be out, you'd see her everywhere. Everywhere.
I want to answer a comment real quick. Janice said,
Okay.
why Brandy though? Why not Tyler? Because I'm comparing mothers. I'm not saying Tyler wouldn't. I'm comparing mothers because Candace isn't in jail. Candace can use the internet. Candace can use the phone to call the police in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Candace can do these things. Candace can use her own YouTube platform. She's not in jail. I'm comparing mothers. I'm comparing cases. So it's absolutely ridiculous because I waited. I did not say anything on YouTube about a possible sighting. Now, of course, you know me, I wait for everything to be verified. I was hopeful. Not going to lie, I was very hopeful. Then it turned out not Summer Wells. This came from a Facebook, someone talking. And what I waited on, though, obviously, is it really Summer? But what I waited on was Candace.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Good thing you didn't hold your breath waiting on her.
Nope, I didn't go underwater for that one. Nope. Be hopeful. Be hopeful.
Yeah.
But, okay, Janice also left a comment, an after show comment, when she said Candace is stirring the pot again and got a restraining order on Don B. Okay, see, I've heard restraining order and I've heard protection order. They're different. So I'm just wondering which it is. And also, never heard what county, because he doesn't live in Hawkins County.
Yeah, that's interesting too, and I've heard both too. I would imagine a protective order. I would imagine. I think those are somewhat, I don't want to say easier, but for lack of better terms, easier than a restraining order. So I would imagine it would be a protective order. I would imagine, but regardless, still, it's like. And I don't know anything. I'm going to be very upfront. I don't watch Don B's channel very often, so I really don't know. I've seen a couple of videos, but I don't really know if he has been like, if he's been out there stalking around people, whatever, acting like a lunatic, it's one thing. I'm not going to say anything against it, either for it or against it. But, you can go and do something like that to advocate for your own protection, but I'll be damned if you would do it for your children. And again, it's just another thing for me to say that all she gives a crap about is herself and herself only. She never cared about those kids, and she never will. She can pretend like it because that's the right thing to look like on YouTube. But she doesn't care. She doesn't care about anybody but herself.
Well, it comes down to this too. Why now?
Exactly. Why now?
What got up her ass? Nothing's been going on. Nothing's been going on. Unless she truly does watch the internet and she truly does see less and less and less and less people talking about the case of Summer Wells, which in turn is also talking about her. Is she missing some attention and decided, like Janice said, to stir the pot to get something going?
That's probably a very good, way of looking at it. But here's the thing. Instead of doing the right thing to get attention and to garner attention for your daughter, you choose to go out and do something stupid and affect somebody else's life over it. Maybe he's made the threats to her. I don't know. Like, again, I don't know the situation. None of us truly know it anyway. But if you're just mad because somebody has spotted you before and has put your vehicle out there on YouTube, and that's what it's about, it's just ridiculous to me that that's where you put your energy at instead of putting your energy towards your children and towards your missing child that you have done nothing but create a diversion around ever since the day she went missing. And it's disgusting.
And why now? Why now? And why Don Buchanan? When they were flying out to go to Dr. Phil, 3 or 4 people followed them around town all the way to the damn airport, took a picture of their car at the airport. It was all over the Facebook groups. It was all over.
Yeah.
Even got pictures of them coming out of the airport. Now, they left that alone. And as far as Don Buchanan, and I am not defending Don Buchanan, like I said, this is not even about him. I'm not arguing about creators. I'm just talking about the task at hand, which is what Candace is up to, because she's up to something. She always is. When he drove by her friend Kathy's house, I guess, and he took a video of the house or whatever, people say it's because of that. It's because of that. Well, why didn't she file it then? This is really odd timing. And again, nothing's going on. What got up her ass now?
Yeah, and her friend Kathy. Mm-mm. Give me just a second, Brooks, please.
I mean, what got up her ass now? The timing is just very odd. Bama Gal, yeah, Don B did take one video of the house that Candace was or is staying at. But she's not at Kathy's anymore. She's over somewhere in Dandridge, and please don't go look her up or anything. Don't want anybody else having to go through this. She's not worth it anyway. She's just not worth it anyway.
No.
She's not. She knows
She's
that
truly
people are asking about her husband, her boys, her mother, and her daughter, and she knows they have been. Well, today she knows if she's looked at the calendar, because it's not going to spark in her memory, for 15 months. So why this week? Is it the 15 months coming up? Why'd she pick him? Like I said, what about the people that followed their asses to the airport?
Well, and why has her friend Kathy not, or whatever her name is, why hasn't she been if you're a true friend and you see this stuff going on, I mean, a true friend would look at you and be like, look, there's got to be something going on. Or if you're not competent enough to understand the situation at hand where, there was a possible sighting of your daughter, why would you not as a friend be like, hey, wake up. Do you not realize what's going on? You need to get on a news outlet. You need to go make a statement. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. Something. And let these people know that you're out there and want to know what the truth truly is. But she don't do that either because she freaking knows. Probably. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, I don't even know how
she knows. That's the reason she had nothing to say on Friday. So think about it this way. The way that you put it together, think about it this way. Friday, everybody has an uproar. Possible sighting of Summer Wells. Is she jealous? So she's like, oh, this isn't going to be about Summer. So she files this early this week. She always has a motive.
She definitely does. She definitely does. And it's definitely not about finding her child. That's for sure. It's always about her. Always. And I'm sure it is an attention thing. It's an attention grab, just like every other part of this story has been. It's never been about finding Summer, and it never will be. Because she just flat out doesn't care, and she friggin' knows the truth. And I can't be convinced of otherwise of that. I will never apologize for throwing those accusations out. I'm sorry. I've been asked that multiple times, and I will never apologize because she's never been a mother, and I'll never get to apologize to Summer that she was brought in this world by two friggin' idiots. So no, I'll never apologize.
Nope. Nobody would expect you to. Nobody would. Like I said, 15 months. Last Friday, there was a woman that thought they saw her in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I don't think many of us really believed it was Summer. I just don't think many people did. Not that we were calling this woman a liar or anything. Sadly, we've lost hope in that and didn't believe Don, Candace, and Grandis saying she was abducted. It just speaks volumes to me that Candace, anybody, and I mean anybody, would have had her. Maybe not me. I'd have to be in the. I haven't done it thus far. I have to. Somebody might have to check on me if you see Candace pop on here. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Well,
anybody. Sworn enemy would have had her on the channel to talk about that and say they think they've seen Summer. I'm going to talk to the police in Jonesboro. I'm not that far away. It's just down I-40. I can just head west right now. I mean, hell, I find all these people to, give me a pillow and a blanket for the couch or set up an extra bedroom. What's a ride down I-40?
Amen. Amen. And I'll tell you, when I first heard about the potential sighting, all I heard was Jonesboro. So it ran cold chills up my back when I heard Jonesboro, because Jonesboro, Tennessee. So there was, and it made me feel like, well, did they put that? Then I heard it was Arkansas. So I was like, what was that put out there to make people kind of like, even more, um, the right word is, but anyway, that was confusing for me for a minute until I heard otherwise, but I don't know. I don't know, Brooks. I just don't know. I just don't understand it. I don't. And I don't think any of us will ever comprehend what's going on or what's happened or who in the right mind would do something like this. Because let's be honest, we see this happening all the time in different cases, but something's got to change. And I tell you, I think the changes have got to start with, obviously, if you have decent people in the world, then you have decent parents that have love and care for their kids like you're supposed to have. However, if that can't change, we have to have, our laws have to freaking change. Our CPS systems or whatever you call them, wherever you live, have to change. They just have to change. Children are not being protected at all. At
It's
all.
such a convoluted problem, and it starts at home, obviously. If CPS comes to your house, there's a big problem. There is a big problem. You don't ever want CPS poking around your house because, well, you're a problem. You're a problem.
Exactly.
Unless somebody falsely reported you or something like that. It's up, obviously, to mom and dad, who definitely need Jesus in their life. They need something. They need something more than the R&R and whatever fix they can get a hold of.
Amen.
You don't let everything fall down around you when you've got a good paying job, but you neglect all of that and your children. Well, it's because you're more focused on your fix and your dirty living.
Amen. Amen.
Here comes CPS, and they have what's called minimum standard of care, which they met. Then we come to this problem. Like I said, the writing is on the wall.
It really is.
I had nothing to say on Friday. Vero Hammer had something to say. She said, one of the most disturbing pictures are Candace and Grandis having fun at the water park. My heart broke that her family didn't care. We're still here for you, Summer. And here is the picture. Nobody's going to stop their good time. Grandis even got a new haircut. This was 3 or 4 days after the disappearance of Summer Wells.
Yep. It's a perfect description of how they have all reacted to Summer missing. It's really super sad. And you know what? So there's people out there saying, well, they wanted the boys to take the boys' mind off it. Bullshit. She's missing. We're not talking about she's gone somewhere else on vacation. She don't know where she is. No, your boys need to know what that feels like too. They need to understand what you're going through as a parent. If in fact you have stuff going on, I realize that you have to, eventually at some point go on with some life stuff, but how do you move away from your kid missing? Like, there's just no way that you can physically make me do that. I'm sorry. And I will never understand this.
This has nothing to do with the boys at all. I've always said, because it was said that this was taken on the 18th. I've always believed it was on the 17th, just because that was the same day she stopped by Allie's house just to ask what they've been chatting with the TBI about. If your child was abducted or your child wandered off in the woods, what would you care what Allie and Hunter are telling the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation?
Yeah. Why? That's exactly right. Why does it matter?
Why you want to stop by? Why?
Yeah.
And I think the boys were kind of in their own trauma. Their sister disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you even have a smile on your face? Much less be anywhere out at a water park having a good time. It don't even make sense.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if the boys were having a good time and they're just sitting there. One of them's just sitting there all glum. I would understand if Grandis took the boys and got them away from the house by herself.
Absolutely.
But I don't know, you got Candace there. She got a bathing suit on. She's grinning ear to ear. Let's hit the rides. Come on. I'm sure they're out there looking for Summer. Man, I'm going to wear myself out because you know those helicopters are going to keep me awake tonight.
Oh, God.
Damn helicopters can't get a wink of sleep around here.
I'm telling you, the fact that somebody would complain about that that really tells you about all you need to know.
For real. Rowena's backstage. Let's all say hello to Rowena. Hello, Rowena.
Hello.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Can hear you. I love the puppy dog picture.
Do I sound like a robot? Because y'all sound like a robot.
We sound like a robot? Does anybody else think that we sound like robots?
You don't to me. I'll say that. And she doesn't to me either.
No.
I see it. I'm going to hop out and then hop back in. Okay? I'll be right back. Okay, thanks.
Fine by me. You get it fixed up, girlfriend. Alicia said, not enough chlorine in that water park. No, there's not, because we're still dealing with the nastiness. The true nastiness. Didn't have anything to say when there is an internet upheaval that someone thought they spotted your daughter. No hope, no concern, no, hell, I got a call. Jonesboro, Arkansas is right down I-40.
Yeah.
I've been saying for almost 15 months she was abducted. I think I might get off my ass and make a phone call.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what stands out. I mean, that's truly what stands out the most is it's like, okay, well, if you truly felt that way, that was your time to come out and say something, because then that would have played right into your story. I mean, the fact that you still have a story is just absurd. I mean, the story. No, it's not a story. It's the facts of what happened. And if you have a story, then to me, you've got a script. You've said yourself that you had a script. So that tells me all we need to know. I mean, I'm sorry.
She didn't like the script. She didn't like the script. And that script didn't fit into her Friday afternoon plans when someone thought they sighted Summer. It just tells you all you need to know. Just two red flags we've just brought up in the last 45 minutes. As recent as Friday, Summer Wells was still not on her mind when someone thought they spotted Summer. That she did not come unraveled. Someone found my daughter. Okay? Didn't. Yep. On her way to the water park, because she had to get her tan on. She had to go down the slicker slide. On the way, because I believe it was the 17th, she stopped at Allie's house to question and intimidate Hunter and Allie. What are you telling the TBI? Why? Don't you want to find your daughter? That you would want everyone to be fully cooperative, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt. I wouldn't have even questioned none of that. I mean, I would want to have follow-up, but not from them, from TBI.
Mm-hmm.
What did, not what did he say, because he wasn't a part of this script except for that he was there during the daytime, not that he was there with them at home. Or was he? Is there more to the story than what we know? And that's why she had felt the need. She needed to go over there and ask what was being said. I mean, we only know part of the story. We don't know the truth and what truly happened. I mean, I at this point, I don't believe any of them. So we know what's been told to us, but we don't know that it's true. Because all anybody wants to do around Summer is lie. That had anything to do with her.
And another reason I think it's a 17th. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's all they're going to do. You can't tell the truth when the truth can't be told.
Exactly.
Can't be told.
Nope.
Because the 17th is when she went by Allie's. I think she went to the water park that day because the picture that actually has the date on it, some of them still, some cameras put the date on it, was from the 18th because her and Grandis were at the AT&T store getting new phones that day.
Which is another thing I have a problem with. So you can afford to go out and get brand new phones after yours are taken for an active investigation for your daughter, and you can afford to go get new phones, but you can't afford to fix your freaking floors or put a bed up for your child to sleep on and not a nasty freaking mattress that's infested with God only knows what, and put it on a cold concrete floor, you can go, yeah, that's where you can do. Yep, I'll leave it at that.
Janice said, weird. She uses Bly, must be ashamed of the Wells name. It depends on if she's in or out of love with Dawn, to be quite honest, because on a whim, she'll change it back to Bly. It's Wells on some Facebook profiles. It's Bly on others. It just depends on if she's in or out of love with Dawn. I mean, JR and Sue Ellen, they have a very complicated relationship. Rowena, did you get it fixed?
I did. Can y'all hear? And does someone go robot?
Nope, you're good. What's up, girl?
Okay, good. Okay. I live in West Tennessee, and I did see that the news there had announced, it was one day this week, I can't remember, I want to say it was Monday, but that DCS is now, so this is new, is now involved in Summer Wells missing case. I do know that there's a juvenile hearing coming up. I don't know when. And you know
hang on, can you hear me? You're saying just recently on your local news, and you're in West Tennessee.
No. I'm in West Tennessee, but on their local news.
Okay, I thought they've been involved the whole time. Is there something new going on? Does anybody have
no? It was the boys. Like CPS was involved with the boys. Okay, yes, they were involved with Summer before, but when Summer went missing, they as far as being a role in that investigation, they weren't. But they came out Monday. The news came out Monday and said, if somebody can go or YouTube look up. I'm trying to think of what channel I heard it on. There was like 3 different ones. CPS involvement in Summer Wells, but they said it was like new, and that they kind of like they just started. I know that there's a hearing coming up. I don't know when, but it's a juvenile hearing. Juvenile hearings, there can be information that leads to criminal charges. Okay, so the boys were there, and truly believe that they told the truth, said whatever happened, and that it will lead to criminal charges. They know this hearing's coming up. They know. And I think that's what has Candace doing this. I think that's what has Jody Sue. Well, Jody Sue's off her rocker anyway, but I think she's just flipped it over and taken the table with her.
Speaking of Jody Sue,
it's just insanity. It's like,
speaking of Jody Sue, me and her aren't friendly at all. We don't speak. But she would be our expert on protective and restraining orders. She could clear up all this confusion about Dawn Buchanan and Candace. Sorry, that just popped in my head. Go ahead, Rowena.
That's okay. Yeah, she would be an expert, but she's an attorney, a doctor, a lawyer. She has all kinds of different,
She knows exactly when
personality. Yeah, she has all kinds of specialties. But I really think I don't know. I just have this strong feeling that this hearing coming up, that in juvenile court, and then them coming out and saying, and as soon as I hop down, I'm going to go look for that link and I'll email it to you. To the where it said in the news. were from the channel. I don't know what channel it was, but I'll find it. Um, and how they worded it. Um, so I, you know,
Yeah,
I think that's
email that
it.
to me, please, because I heard that there would be a hearing October 22nd, and that Dawn is getting out the 30th, and that who she does stay in contact with, she said basically her internet silence is because she's working on getting the boys back before Dawn gets
She
out.
cannot. She cannot.
She's a suspect,
Okay,
and so is he.
right. She will not get those boys back. I don't care. I don't care what she does. She will not get those boys back. They did not attend the last hearing. Okay, that was to say, what had they done? Where are they at? In meeting their plan to get the children back. If they did not show, that's it.
Mhm.
Period. I mean, it's not just the state has the kids. No, you're done. You're completely 100% done. And if Timmy is blowing smoke at Candace's whatever and telling her, hey, there's a chance you get the boys back. He's such a freak. He'd tell her anything to keep this going. He's a weirdo. And,
I think he
you
might
know,
be a little behind this protective
oh,
order that's filed.
I definitely believe it. Now, I subbed to Don Wells. When I saw something, if I got a notification where I'd go over there and watch it. It wasn't earth shattering. I'm like, I must know people that are in law enforcement or something because he kind of hinted around to that. Okay. Um, I didn't know until night before last what goes on at night, what Don Wells does. I mean, Don B.
Mhm.
I didn't. I had no idea, and I'm sorry. I don't care about Candace. I don't.
Mm.
She's a piss poor mother. If you want to even use the word mother, she's a piss poor person. I wouldn't pay on her face if it was on fire. To be honest, I really wouldn't. I don't care. She's abusive. She's abusive to. She has no look that has a heartbeat. Period. A fish, anything, nothing. And I, uh, I think that Don B. I think he took it too far, and he said some things about the boys and deleted it and thought it would never be seen again,
But
and
that was
written words,
but
and it's disgusting. And I will never forgive him for that. I'm sorry. Those boys are a victim. I'm gonna tell you what, Summer saved her brothers. Okay,
yes, she did.
Summer got her brothers taken. She saved her brothers. But I'm gonna tell you what, her brothers are gonna get justice for Summer. I'm gonna tell you right now, the oldest one. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now, and that's why Don couldn't go see him anymore. Couldn't talk to him anymore because he broke that one rule. One rule. Don't talk about Summer. What's he do? Gets him aside, and they called him, and they said, "No, you're cut
We
off.
told you not to bring up Summer to the
You're
board.
cut off."
They told him not to bring up
Right.
Summer.
But I mean, rules don't
No,
apply. Rules. I mean, both of them. Rules don't apply. I mean, what? Drink and drive? What? You can't do that. What? I mean, nothing applies to them. Nothing. And I'm gonna. There's one. Everybody's got their theory or whatever. But um, I I I think in the what Don doesn't know in the aftermath or whatever of what happened, I think that's where Jody Spew or Loaf or whatever you want to call
Mhm.
her, I think that's where she comes into play because she slipped up and she said, I went, she had to run to the creek or whatever to see if she was still, and she said the word still there, and she caught herself. Still, still there? These are her own words. I mean, seriously, these are her own words. And, she might be scared that Don's going to come and, whip her ass, for what she's been doing. But she likes Don. She said that she felt more comfortable with Don than she did with Andy.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't even care what she does.
Oh,
If
yeah.
she's got any involvement, I want her locked up too.
Mm.
Every single person that has involvement in this needs to be locked up. The YouTubers that are taking it too far, that are taking pictures of houses and all this social, and I'm gonna tell you what, I, Don, Don D messed up. He did, and he's gonna have to face the consequences. And I'm not taking it for Candace. I'm
Well, let me
not. I'm not. But I'm gonna tell you what. There's crazy people out here. And what if that wasn't her house? What if it wasn't? And you've got a crazy loon that goes and shoots up that house, and it wasn't. And it wasn't hers. It wasn't where she was staying.
let me
Who would be responsible
let me
then?
ask you this. I'm more concerned about the timing. I've heard all those things. I don't get it. I don't do that. But that's how, everyone does something different, and everybody has a different
Well,
favorite flavor of ice cream, if you know what I mean. But my question is, why
hmm
was an order of protection or an order of restraint not put into place during these different incidences? Why now?
I don't know, and I think that's where Kidney comes into play. I think I, I I don't know if they increased. Like I said, I didn't watch his channel, like I watch yours or what. I just popped in every now and then, so I don't know. I don't really know, or maybe it's you know somebody telling her do this, it'll make you look, I don't know, a certain way, maybe scared, defenseless. I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to twist out. She's got a twist. I mean, she doesn't do anything
Mhm.
without an ulterior motive. I mean, please. She doesn't do it. Neither one of them. All three of them don't. There's always a motive. And,
She's got a motive. She's
I
got a motive.
really, hmm
She's got a motive.
but and I don't know if it's
Timing.
like going before the court and looking pitiful.
The timing is just very odd to me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we have a lag, and I'm trying to count so that way we don't talk over each other. I'm sorry. It happens. It's just YouTube communicating with StreamYard and me communicating with you and everybody else. It happens. Everybody has a different network, I guess. Anyway, it's the timing. Why? Nothing has been going on. Now, if you wanted to do something when the allegations about the boys were said, that's one thing. Or if you did something when he took a picture of your bumper sticker or when he drove by your friend's house, okay, that's one thing. But now there's always a motive.
hmm Yeah, I think timing is part of it, and I really think it has to do with this case coming up because we're gonna blink, and it's gonna. What did you? I couldn't remember the date. October 22nd, 28th. I can't remember what she said. Of the juvenile hearing, but that's gonna be here like quick, and if she can shut up anybody and find any reason, to be able to shut up. I mean, judges don't order, temporary orders of protection, and sign the paper just because you've said it. So, but I don't know why now. The only thing I can see that changed is that they came out and said, CPS said that they were now working on Summer's disappearance. But I'm gonna find that news clip and I'm gonna email it to you as soon as I hop down. But that's all I wanted to say is that I just believe that in my heart. I think those boys have spoke, and I think Summer's gonna get justice. I really do, and I think they're gonna be the ones that that do it. And it's not like yes, the boys are in a foster home and everything like that, but they've also gone through. I know everybody knows, kids go through, special questioning. They're not questioned like adults. So it is a more timely, slow building up. And depending on the age of each
Right.
child. So those boys were on that hill that day, and you can't tell me those boys didn't know something. You can't tell me that they didn't, that they can't say something, because you got the boys down at the creek, with Jody Sue on one side and the boys on the other. Well, what happened to you in the water, and the neighbor on the thing, and the boys on the other side, across the way? It's like they're on the
Not
other side of the house,
not only
or the shed or whatever.
not only were the boys there for the abduction that never happened, or as we know, the wandering off that didn't happen, because they wouldn't even,
Mhm.
I mean, that was the only thing that offended them, is when anybody brought up wandering off. No,
Mhm.
no, she would never wander off. But yeah, she could damn sure get abducted. Yeah, that could happen easily. Fly blind into the
Yeah.
collar and just happen to grab one child out of 4 on a Tuesday afternoon, early afternoon. Sure, that could happen, but no, she would never wander off. Don't question
They can't even see the house.
parenting like that. But so not only were the boys there,
Yeah.
their mother tells us many times, tells Dr. Phil, tells Chris McDonough, that they were the last to see her. She pins them with that. Someone tell me, how messed up is that? She pins the boys.
Yeah. Wasn't that crappy? Yeah.
She
Yeah.
sent Summer
Yeah.
in the house. Sent Summer in the house. The boys are lined up at the dining room table.
Throw her own babies under the bus.
They were the last to see her. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to go through a news clip from June of 2021.
Yeah, that's that.
I think you're cutting out a little bit, Rowena.
Am I?
Can everybody hear Rowena? Rowena, I lost you. You may have to disconnect and reconnect. Okay, let's go through this news clip. Like I said, it's from June of 2021. And there's something that sticks out to me that Lawson said. I want to see if I'm, reaching too far, or if you guys think there's something there too. Also, the link is posted. Summer's been missing 15 months as of today. Grab it. Don't be shy. We're all friends here.
Hawkins County girl continues.
Yeah, more than 100 people, 41 agencies have been involved in the search for Summer Wells. She was reported missing from her home in the Beach Creek community back on June 15th. An Amber Alert issued the next day. Anyone with information about Summer's disappearance is asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. The TBI officials say, quote, every detail, no matter how insignificant you think it may be, is important. So please help us bring her home.
And the TBI is holding a press conference here in just a few minutes. We are preparing for that, as are they. We will bring you the updates as soon as that starts. And you know what? I just got word. It does appear the TBI is starting that press conference right now, giving that update about the search for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Summer is still missing, and we are more concerned than ever and desperate to find her. TBI agents continue to work with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI in an effort to determine what happened to Summer. We are utilizing all available resources to include the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. We want to reiterate that the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear, which is why we've been exploring all possibilities. Agents and detectives have followed up on a number of leads, to include residential surveillance video and photos from around the area of Summer's home. Drivers seen in the area at the time of her disappearance have been identified and interviewed. While we've not ruled out an abduction, we simply do not have any evidence at this point to confirm that's what occurred. For that reason, the ground search for Summer continues.
Okay, so again, we're going back in time. This is June of 2021. We know abduction's been ruled out. I think it only took till like July to rule it out, because the woman that was assigned by the TBI, who basically works in the Amber Alert department, was taken off the case in July. That's the reason it makes sense to me that they knew in July she had not been abducted. And it's really strange in these cases. It takes a very long time for them to establish an abduction, but not that long to rule one out.
Possible that she wandered off and is lost and afraid. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson is going to talk more about what we need from property owners at this point. Sheriff?
Thank you. First of all, I want to let everyone know that what a big asset that Mount Carmel Baptist Church has been to us. They've opened their doors, their church, their fellowship hall, their land. As y'all see, this is a very remote area, and we would be in desperate trouble if we didn't have that place to set up our command post. With that said, we use every available resource that we have, and today I want to use you all. I want the word to get out to all the residents in the Upper Beech Creek community, Hawkins County, and Sullivan County. We need the residents.
I understand. I never caught this, and I've watched this clip a million times. A million times. We're 15 months in. I do not know why that DA does not, because only the DA can press charges. Why doesn't the DA at least charge them for supplying alcohol to a minor, child endangerment, something of that sort? It happens in every other case when they suspect the parents. But I got off track. Hang on, listen again.
In the Upper Beech Creek community, Hawkins County, and Sullivan County, we need the residents to go back today, tonight, tomorrow, as soon as possible, go back and check their entire property, any outbuildings, any barns, any place a child could hide. We desperately need you to do that for us.
Beech Creek community, understood. Hawkins County, I don't know why you would search around your property. Sullivan County? That's where Allie lives. Why on earth would he think at this point they were ruling out abduction, and of course her wandering off? We weren't hearing everyone's a suspect at this time. This is June of 2021. It was heavily suspected from the beginning that she wandered off. That was the reason that the search people were walking shoulder to shoulder. Grown adults, shoulder to shoulder, walking in almost baby steps, looking straight down at the ground, because it was thought that she was somewhere out in that Johnson grass, and they don't want to step over her. They were taking very meticulous steps. Sullivan County. I understand the geography. You really think she wandered into another county? Why Sullivan County? You really think a 5-year-old, 40-pound little girl wandered into the next county? I've talked to several locals and they're like, that would be impossible. Who lives in Sullivan County? Who lives in Sullivan County? We don't need to look in Sullivan County if she just wandered off. Barefoot. That's one of the constants in this case. Just roll with it. Said hand it off to someone in Sullivan County? I don't know. He's saying check all your properties, check your outbuildings. I spoke with several of you in Discord this morning because I caught that. And I'm like, and I looked on the map myself. Remember how long it took for Candace to drive from Ben Hill Road to Sullivan County to take Grandis to the emergency room. Was not a doctor's appointment. We were lied to about that. To take Grandis to the emergency room, go pick up Hunter, fiddle, fart around all day. We've heard that entire story. Pick Grandis back up because I do not believe Grandis was at the pond to watch Summer swim. Of course, drop off Hunter and get back home. 25, 30-minute ride by car. Some people say no, it's about 45 minutes from Ben Hill Road. He says this. Listen again. Then we're going to hear some more.
Entire property, any outbuildings, any barns, back today, tonight, tomorrow, as soon as possible, go back and check their entire property, any outbuildings, any barns, any place a child could hide. We desperately need you to do that for us. It's easier for you to check your own property than it is to send officers there. We have not stopped. As Captain will tell you, we've been 24/7 for 6 days now. So we desperately need help from the community now searching their own property. Any question? Okay, Captain.
Thank you, Sheriff. As both of them have stated, we will continue to search for Summer Wells until we locate Summer Wells. As of June 21st, 2021, search and rescue efforts for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells will continue throughout the day and also the night. At this point, we have utilized 72 agencies from Tennessee, Ohio, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina assisting in these search efforts. Numerous specialized search and rescue groups and canine teams have been represented from these multiple different agencies. To date, we have estimated approximately 2,400 acres have been searched since Tuesday night when she was reported missing. The rugged mountainous terrain continues to cause problems and slow the search operations at times. The search will continue Tuesday morning into Wednesday morning. An updated release will be issued as new information becomes available. And as stated before, if anyone has any information on the disappearance of Summer Wells, please contact Hawkins County Sheriff's Department and our 1-800-TBA fine. Thank you.
We'll open it up for a few questions at this time.
Just wondering, has Summer ever wandered off before?
According to family members, it's not common for her to wander off.
Saturday.
Why did they lie to them and say it's not common for her to wander off? She doesn't wander off. Why? Did they seriously not want them searching in that area for some reason? You just heard Leslie was just asked, did she just wander off? We've been talking about this for 15 months. According to her parents, it's not common for her to wander off. We've heard them on interviews say, no, just laugh it off. Dawn laughed. No, she's not just going to wander off. No. Wouldn't even consider it. It's not common for her to wander off. We heard Jose, he said one time they looked for her for an hour. Now, in an hour, you think you would have called authorities to come help you. What in the world?
There was a pretty extensive search into it this evening. Can you elaborate on what that tip was and why there was such a large presence for crews to come back out? Anytime we have information that could potentially lead us to locating someone, we're going to use all resources. Crews were in the area following up on a lead. Unfortunately, some are still missing.
How is the changing weather impacting your searches?
Sure, that's a great question. Captain Coop, can you explain?
So the projected forecast here for the next 24 to 48 hours will change our approach. It will not change our aggressive approach. The only thing that this will change, it will change maybe what terrain we approach at this time. Due to severe thunderstorms, we can't put our teams in danger to turn around and maximize the situation. We are monitoring weather 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with live weather updates. We are also utilizing the National Weather Service, who calls us on a routine basis. If there's any type of weather that's approaching our immediate area, they have been more than helpful with notifying us in a very timely manner to allow us to know so we can plan on how we're going to approach these areas.
All right, big takeaway here. Summer Wells is still missing. TBI agents say the circumstances surrounding the moments leading up to her disappearance are still unclear. We also just learned ground searches are still happening.
And that's another thing. The moments leading up to her disappearance are unclear. What do you mean they're unclear? A child wanders off. That's pretty cut and dry. They wandered off. Used to do it all the time. Very sad situation. In my state, just this week, a little boy wandered away from his home. They found him deceased. They did. Last summer, another little boy. I believe they said that something with his autism, he was very attracted to water or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I'll post it in the Facebook group so you guys can read it for yourself. He wandered off. He got out of the house. His mama didn't realize. She was attending to another child in the home. Panicked. She calls 911. They bring out the dogs. They bring out the drones. They bring out the helicopters. You know, of course, tons of people on foot. They found him in the water. He drowned. There was no what led up to their disappearance in either of those cases local to me. Why have they always used that verbiage? It's unclear what led up to her disappearance. It's unclear what happened moments before her disappearance. If she wandered off, it wouldn't be unclear, would it now? Rowena, you're teasing me back there. What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I found what I was looking for and I emailed it to you.
Okay.
The clip.
Okay. Let me look at my email real quick. Bear with me. So what do you think? I mean, there's more things sticking out to us. We go back to the beginning. Things that law enforcement said, moments leading up to her disappearance. What do you mean? Did she wander off or not?
Yeah.
No.
And the cog team was like, this was not an abduction. Okay, so what else do you have? A 5-year-old tiny little girl is not going to walk, 5 miles. She's not going to walk alleys. Okay, you know, it makes sense. You know, they know what they know what happened, where there was of being not in your right mind and say yes on you, so you decided to, instead of do the right thing, to try to cover it up. You know, I just never, I, I mean, from the very beginning, when Don came out and just said it, you know, it was an abduction. It was like, what? I, I don't know. I loved him too. I did.
He used to work. Well,
It's just
I'm not going to go into that.
incredible.
Helen said the parents would have said wandered off and been more credible. Yeah, if you're looking for like to get away with something and you live in that, I'm using their word, terrain, that would have been believable to everyone, especially when they opened their mouth and we see how ignorant they are. I don't mean ignorant as in education or anything like that. I'm not picking on them, but we just know that they never were very savvy with the way they worded things. Whose birthday is it? Whose birthday is it? Whistle? Oh, Whistle, are you having a birthday? Is your birthday today? I don't want to tell anyone, the wrong person, happy birthday. Some people are like, don't make me a year older. Don't make me a year older. Whistle while you lurk. Well, happy birthday, my friend. Let's all take a second and tell Whistle happy birthday. Happy birthday, Whistle. All right. And wow. And Summer's been missing 15 months. Oh. Absolutely crazy. I would take a poll and say, what do you think happened to Summer? But I think we're all in the same boat now. I know at one point we weren't, but it just, everything screams foul play. Like I said, the tweet that court case sent to Leslie at TBI, let me load that and I'll put it up. I'm going to read it to you guys. Bear with me. Where do I go to get that? Open up. What are you doing for your birthday, Whistle? You can tell everybody in chat and I'll catch it in a minute. All right, so this is the tweet. Court case sent to Leslie Earhart at TBI, basically asking about the investigation. The question was, we had been talking about it in members' lives. They never, in their press conferences, news clips, or anything, they never say criminal investigation. They always say investigation. Probably because they don't want to get us crazy going, see right there, there's a crime committed. Well, we know there is, but what crime? I can think of quite a few. I know you guys can too. Leslie tweets back to court, absolutely, foul play has not been ruled out. Then, of course, she goes into what we can all recite in our sleep. As a result, the investigation into the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain active and ongoing. We can recite that in our sleep. The important sentence is, besides absolutely, that's a definite. That's a definite. Absolutely, yeah, that's a definite. Foul play has not been ruled out. That was in August 2nd. I believe that tweet went back to court. I do. Circle Box, are you sick? We got a lot going on in chat. I'm feeling left out. All right, so let's go to how Dawn described what happened on June 15th. In the Kylie Rodney case, I've been referring to Jagger as the Dawn Wells of the case because, and these cases are nowhere near similar, but you have someone who was supposedly not there that wants to be the mouthpiece, and they have all the information. I hate this interview for a million reasons. I have to play it because of what Dawn says, but it really upsets me that they put their child on camera.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald Wells spoke on camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please, let Summer be okay, and please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement.
Some bad person grabbed her and we have no idea. You can't have any idea, Dawn. You weren't there. Hang on, I got to back this up just a minute.
Anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have covered leads on area sex offenders and drug addicts.
We're trying to think, beat her brains out.
Beat our brains out. Yeah, he's so helpful. Listen to him. They've ruled, they've been going through the area sex offenders, drug dealers, the whole gamut, the usual suspects, okay? There's Dawn, yeah, we've been beating our brains out trying to figure this out, help crack the case. But she didn't wander off. She was just abducted. Some bad guy grabbed her, only grabbed her with 3 boys at home by themselves all day long, up until they got home early afternoon, June 15th. June 15th. So she was gardening, goes in the house. Now, they don't say the boys on here, but that is what Candace has told us. She goes in the house, the boys are sitting there, and she goes downstairs to play by herself. Beautiful day outside. She has her swing and the lovely cactus to cut her hands up with. But she wanted to go into the basement full of mold, humidity, and windows she couldn't see out of. No. And Dawn backs it up. Dawn wasn't there, correct? That's what Dawn said. Dawn was not there. Circle Box. Brooks, what do you think happened? Can you sum up the information you have? What do I think happened? With just not accusing. It's just after I got over she's around there somewhere and learned more about the parents, mainly Candace. Candace has a history of child abuse. And it just seemed to me that she kept the boys busy and she took Summer somewhere because her history caught up with her. Let me put it that way. As far as Don, I don't know where he fits into it. I've never been able to figure it out. He's a suspect, though. Every time Ronnie Lawson speaks, he says everyone's a suspect. And he's the only one. When Pruitt was talking, you know, he's the one that fed us that line of BS about the CPS case overlapping. That is not true. It can't be. CPS is totally separate. CPS is separate. Unless he's waiting on them to wrap up their investigation and he can send charges to the DA for child endangerment if he's talking about that part of it. But if he's talking about the disappearance of Summer Wells, that makes no sense. Especially when Leslie says we haven't ruled out foul play. So she's basically contradicting what he said. She's not saying we're waiting on CPS. She says we haven't ruled out foul play yet. She doesn't say we're waiting on CPS. I think that's a line he fed everybody. Right after his smart-ass mouth said we can all put in applications to go to Hawkins County and we can get jobs there.
We've covered everything that we can think of already.
Investigators say they have followed up on 85 tips so far. Wells says he is overwhelmed by the massive numbers of personnel on site.
We just really appreciate everybody trying to help that they have, law enforcement and all these volunteers that are here. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
It was John Janko reporting those sentiments shared by Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, who said he has never seen a show of public support like this in his 4 decades of law enforcement.
Yeah, today the TBI and Sheriff Lawson said Summer's family does continue to cooperate in this ongoing search for the little girl. They say that at all points the family has continued to be assisting in this process.
This is for entertainment purposes and general awareness.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Nature lover, a shallow grave. I would think more like a cave. They would have definitely seen new earth dug up. The whole thing is scary. You know, and in these cases, it's dangerous to really even talk about it if you really want to know the truth, because you're talking about people who aren't in jail. Okay? Candace, she's out and free. There's other cases where these people are not in jail. If they can make a whole person disappear, who are we? So be really careful when you reach out to these people. I'm sure none of you do, but I know others do. Just be real careful. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Hang on. Someone said, where did Muscles go? I lost Muscles and I lost Rowena. So you guys are stuck with me. I hope that's okay. I'm not going to keep you much longer anyway. Actually, since it's for 15 months for Summer, this song has a totally new meaning for all of us anymore when we hear it. I think we did it at 6 months, her birthday, 1 year. So in closing, I'm going to play a song for Summer and then let everybody get on with their day. Going to forget Summer Wells. I've checked and checked and checked today. There's no update, no press release, anything. Not going to quit talking about Summer Wells. I mean, hell, we've stuck it out this long. So just because there's no updates or anything like that, we're not going to give up. We're not going to give up. We're going to continue talking about Summer Wells. I can't foresee anything getting moving or shaken anytime soon. And I really do not believe that on the 22nd, they're going to hand those boys back to Candace. She's got a lot to answer for, and I mean a lot. So we're not going to worry about that either. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys over in Discord. I saw a couple of comments, people asking about Discord. It is free. Nobody charges you or anything like that. I know some creators do. I don't. You know, it's a good way for us to talk about the cases, really pick them apart, you know, in between shows, stay in touch. It's not even all about the cases. Just like in the Facebook group, it's not about one case. You can, you know, bring up any case you want. Talk about the weather. It doesn't matter. Don't get bogged down with gloom and doom. Okay? Not healthy. So if you want to come into Discord, send me an email. I'll get you the link to come over. If you're not active in there and we haven't seen anything from you in a long time, doesn't have to be every day or even once a week, then, I mean, it's not for just reading what everybody else says. You're not going to see Discord anymore. Is that fair enough? It's for conversation. Conversation, whether it be about NFL, college game day, vacations, Christmas, whatever you want to talk about. There's pretty much a room for anything at this point. So I'll see you guys over there, or I'll see you in the Facebook group. Or if I miss you all day today, then I'll see you back here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We have some things to discuss about the Kiely Rodni case. Don't give up on Summer. Don't give up on Harmony. Any of the cases, any of the kids. And I'll see you back here tomorrow to hang out with the best chat and the best community, hands down, on YouTube. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.